They come in the form of knife-wielding psychos, cannibals, your wildest dreams, and your worst nightmares. These are the things that keep the nightlight on when you're reading in bed. I'm talking about horror novels, and today on Inside the Author's Studio, we're gonna find out what makes them scary. We all know that a certain amount of tension is needed to keep a reader's interest. In horror, that tension doubles. Readers or viewers are expecting a certain amount of nail-gripping fear when they invest their time in a horror, and it's up to you to deliver. So what makes horror scary?
Here are what I consider the main ingredients for writing a horror novel: worry, shock, surprise, and humor.
Off-Season by Jack Ketchum has the plot of a good horror down to a science. He builds the tension in each chapter, but also the characters. As you get more and more involved in the story, the stakes get higher and higher. What starts off as a vacation getaway turns into a nightmare for a group of friends tormented by a group of maniacs, most of whom are children. The underlying fear of most horror novels comes from the psychology of it. Where most movies use visual gore and heavy music to set the scene,
I'm your #1 fan.
a writer's seeds are planted in the mindset of the character, when they are taken out of their comfort zone and thrust into a frightening predicament.
How could you?
In Misery, Stephen King effectively took a situation that most celebrities feared and turned it into a terrifying novel. Later adapted to screen, Misery has one of the most frightening monsters ever portrayed in horror, the psychotic fan. In King's novel, Annie Wilkes is not only crazy, but malicious in her abuse. The big daddy of all iconic horror characters is Dracula. Vampires in general have seen many incarnations over the years. Starting with Bram Stoker's original depiction of Dracula, the vampire image was one to be feared. As time went on, and tastes changed, this once powerful image morphed into a watered-down version used in romance rather than horror. So you see, it's all in the author's depiction. Take the zombie, for instance. In I Am Legend and World War Z, both stories took the zombie apocalypse and spun it on its head. It's your job as a storyteller to make your audience feel scared. When it comes to telling horror, make them feel the fear. That's all for this edition of Inside the Author's Studio. Join us next time, and in the meantime, keep on thirsting for knowledge and live your dreams.